In a shocking twist that no one saw coming, political commentator and cultural lightning rod Candace Owens has just dropped a bombshell about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, and the internet can't stop buzzing. According to Owens, the Hollywood power couple has filed a major new court request, one that could dramatically reshape not just their ongoing legal battle, but the way celebrities clash with content creators and online media at large. With whispers of subpoenas, digital record demands, and sweeping legal moves aimed at influencers, Owens' claim is fueling an online firestorm, and the implications are massive. For months we've watched Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds go from red carpet royalty to legal headline regulars thanks to their escalating courtroom war, tied to defamation, leaked communications, and their feud with Justin Baldoni. But now, if what Candace Owens is saying is true, this isn't just about two actors protecting their image. It's about setting a precedent, a warning shot to creators, commentators, and even news outlets who dare to cover them critically. And Owens is making sure the public hears every word of it. Why would Blake and Ryan risk more PR chaos with another legal filing? What exactly are they trying to stop or hide, and what does it say that a figure like Candace Owens, never one to shy away from controversy, is now stepping into the spotlight with claims that could change the entire narrative? This is bigger than celebrity drama. This is about free speech, media control, and the growing tension between Hollywood and the creators who chronicle its every move. Buckle up, because if what Owens says is true, the next chapter in this battle is going to be explosive. The entertainment world has once again been shaken to its core, and this time the catalyst is none other than commentator Candace Owens. Known for her no-nonsense approach to cultural and political discourse, Owens has entered the fray with a powerful and controversial claim. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have just filed a significant new court request. This revelation, according to Owens, may not only impact the couple's ongoing legal challenges, but could also have major implications for content creators, free speech, and the celebrity ecosystem as a whole. In a detailed and urgent breakdown shared across her platforms, Owens declared this legal move as a strategic effort to control not only the courtroom narrative, but also the broader media environment surrounding Blake and Ryan's escalating legal troubles. To fully understand why this moment matters so much, it's essential to rewind and look at the events that led to this tipping point. What began as a relatively private conflict involving Blake Lively and actor-director Justin Baldoni has snowballed into one of Hollywood's most complex and high-profile legal sagas. For months behind closed doors and increasingly out in the open, this dispute has grown to encompass major celebrity names, content creators, leaked text messages, and whispers of public manipulation. The stakes have only risen. What was once a personal dispute is now deeply entangled in broader cultural issues about privacy, power, and media control. Now, according to Owens, the legal document that Blake and Ryan's attorneys just filed is not simply about protecting their privacy, it's about silencing certain commentary altogether, including her own. Owens describes the motion as a court filing designed to secure a protective order. In her view, the intention is clear: to shield potentially damaging digital evidence from the public, and to discourage content creators and independent media figures from discussing it openly. The motion, while still sealed and not yet confirmed in detail by court records available to the public, is said to include requests to limit press access to future court proceedings, to seal text messages and digital communications that may emerge in discovery, and to raise concerns about public commentary interfering with the legal process. Owens finds this deeply troubling. She argues that this kind of motion isn't just about legal strategy, it's about controlling public discourse. If true, she believes it represents a growing trend where celebrities use the court system not just to defend themselves, but to limit scrutiny and criticism. The language in the filing, according to Owens, is vague but targeted. Phrases such as biased speculation and context-free information circulating on social platforms appear to refer to the kind of commentary that she and other creators have been publishing in recent weeks. Owens points out that the motion doesn't name any individuals directly, but its timing and phrasing strongly suggests that it's a response to the latest wave of viral videos, especially those questioning the integrity of the public narrative surrounding Lively and Reynolds. For Owens, this is personal. As a public figure who has built her career on direct, unapologetic commentary, she sees the filing as a potential threat to her work and to the broader right of independent creators to speak freely about powerful people. But there's more to this filing than what's on the surface. The timing is suspicious. Just weeks ago, a major development occurred in the case involving Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and now indirectly Taylor Swift. A judge ruled that certain text messages between Swift and Baldoni would be admissible in court as part of the discovery process. That ruling was widely interpreted as a win for Baldoni and a serious setback for Lively. Those texts are believed to contain sensitive information that could reshape how the public views the case, and the key players involved, Owens and others, believe that the new court filing is a direct response to that development, a last-ditch attempt to prevent further fallout before even more sensitive communications make their way into the public domain. If that's the case, then what we're witnessing is more than just legal maneuvering, it's a battle for narrative control. And by filing this motion, Blake and Ryan may have unintentionally accelerated the very controversy they hope to suppress. The court of public opinion has always been unpredictable, but in the age of social media, it can be downright uncontrollable. Owens argues that this is a textbook example of the Streisand effect, a phenomenon where the act of trying to hide something only draws more attention to it. She says the filing and the attempt to keep certain evidence private has done little to stem the tide of speculation. In fact, it may have thrown gasoline on the fire. Across the internet, hashtags like #BlakeGagOrder and #SealTheTruth began trending just hours after Owens posted her video. Within a day, hundreds of thousands of users had weighed in debating the ethics and legality of using the courts to control commentary, while Owens' supporters have rallied to her side, seeing this as yet another example of Hollywood elites trying to silence uncomfortable truths. Others have adopted a more cautious tone. Some believe Blake and Ryan have a right to protect their personal lives, especially in the face of viral commentary that may be inaccurate or unfair. But the key question remains: at what point does the right to privacy cross the line into the suppression of public discourse? That's the heart of the debate. For years, celebrities have maintained a delicate balance between leveraging public attention and shielding themselves from its more invasive effects. But this case could fundamentally alter that balance. Owens insists that if this kind of motion is allowed to stand, and if creators are discouraged from discussing public legal matters, then we're entering dangerous new territory. In her view, this goes far beyond Blake and Ryan. It sets a precedent that could be used by any powerful public figure looking to stifle commentary, criticism, or investigation. And as she points out, the fact that the motion allegedly includes language about social platform interference suggests a broader agenda to discourage creators from exploring these topics at all. The legal community is now paying attention. Several high-profile attorneys and legal analysts have weighed in, noting that while protective orders are not uncommon, the language reportedly used in this case, especially if it references public commentary, could present new constitutional questions. One attorney explained that if the motion implies that certain types of media or online commentary constitute interference with the legal process, then courts may be forced to decide where the boundaries of free speech begin and end in the digital age. Others are more skeptical, pointing out that without the full text of the motion, it's impossible to judge its intent or scope. Still, the fact that Owens is making such strong claims and that her legal team is reportedly reviewing the motion in detail means this will likely remain a hot-button issue in the weeks ahead. All of this is unfolding in an atmosphere already charged with tension. The case involving Blake and Justin has become a cultural lightning rod, not just because of the names involved, but because of what it symbolizes in the age of influencer media and viral information. Who controls the story? Is it the people involved, their lawyers, the press, or the millions of voices on social platforms? Owens says the answer is increasingly unclear. And that's exactly why this new court filing matters so much. It's not just about legal protection, it's about narrative warfare. Meanwhile, other creators and commentators are beginning to speak up. Several high-profile YouTubers and podcasters have publicly expressed concern about the precedent this filing might set. Some are even considering legal consultations of their own, worried that they too could become targets of similar tactics. A few have already received vague warnings or takedown requests related to their videos covering the case. Whether these are part of a broader legal strategy or simply coincidental remains to be seen, but the timing is raising eyebrows across the community. And then there's the issue of silence. While Owens continues to speak out, Blake and Ryan have remained notably quiet. Neither has issued a public statement about the filing or about the growing controversy surrounding their legal battle. This silence, while perhaps strategic, is beginning to raise questions. Are they waiting for the dust to settle, or are they hoping to manage the fallout behind closed doors? Some observers believe their legal team is deliberately avoiding any public confrontation, especially with creators like Owens who thrive in high-conflict environments. But others worry that this kind of silence only deepens the divide between celebrities and the public. As the dust begins to settle around Candace Owens' explosive claims, it's clear that We are only at the beginning of a much larger storm. The legal filing she described could shape not only the outcome of the current court case, but also the future of media freedom, commentary rights, and celebrity accountability. In the next part, we'll go deeper into what Owens said in her full response, examine the reactions from fellow creators and industry insiders, and explore how this is starting to affect the broader conversation surrounding Taylor Swift, Justin Baldoni, and the powerful media players watching closely from the sidelines. This isn't just about Blake and Ryan anymore. It's about control, influence, and who gets to tell the story. Stay with us. Candace Owens did not hold back in her full response video, which aired less than 24 hours after her initial social media post about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' court filing. In the video, which quickly racked up millions of views, Owens offered a scathing but controlled reaction, describing the alleged court motion as both cowardly and calculated, with an intense focus on the implications rather than personal drama. She dissected the situation from every angle, legally, morally, and culturally, drawing strong lines between celebrity privilege and the public's right to open discourse. What made this video especially impactful wasn't just the content but the tone. It wasn't sensationalist or aggressive, it was restrained, thoughtful, and chillingly clear. Owens began by reiterating that she had received confirmation from sources close to the case that a motion was indeed filed by Blake and Ryan's legal team. While the exact content of the document remains under seal, she claims those with access to the docket have confirmed that the timing and nature of the filing align perfectly with her earlier claims. She framed the motion as a veiled attempt to create fear in the digital media space, specifically to make content creators think twice before speaking on topics that involve public figures, especially when those figures have significant legal resources. Owens didn't mince words. She said flatly that this kind of motion, if left unchallenged, would set a dangerous precedent for creators like her, for independent journalism, and for freedom of commentary. In the influencer age, the heart of her argument was striking. Owens said this wasn't about shielding private details from the public, it was about controlling the entire story. She called out the selective nature of legal interventions in high-profile cases like these. Celebrities want the benefit of press when it makes them look good, she said, but they want the press gagged when things turn against them. That double standard, she argued, is what this motion represents. It's not about protecting truth or ensuring fairness, it's about silencing opposition. Owens also made a point that resonated deeply with her audience. If this motion is successful, it could open the door for other celebrities to use similar filings to suppress commentary on everything from scandals to business deals to public statements. The ripple effect, she warned, could be catastrophic for the digital content ecosystem. Her breakdown gained immediate traction. Several major content creators, some with millions of subscribers, quickly posted their own reactions, voicing support and raising alarm. One well-known political commentator said, "This isn't about one lawsuit. This is about whether or not people like us can even exist in this space anymore." Another added, "We don't have the legal budget Blake Lively does. If they can pressure platforms or creators through the court system, who's next?" That fear of being quietly silenced through legal intimidation has now become a central talking point across the creator community. But Candace Owens wasn't the only one reacting. Behind the scenes, more Hollywood insiders started to weigh in. In private group chats, celebrity managers, publicists, and attorneys began debating the strategy behind Blake and Ryan's alleged filing. Some defended it as necessary damage control in the face of rising speculation. Others admitted that it looked like a PR disaster in the making. The irony, many noted, is that the move to suppress commentary may have only magnified the controversy. They handed Candace Owens a narrative on a silver platter, one insider reportedly said. Now she's the face of free speech against celebrity censorship, and that's not a battle they're going to win easily. Perhaps most surprising, however, was the quiet response, or lack thereof, from those in Blake Lively's inner circle. In past media storms, her team had been quick to release carefully worded statements to clarify facts, express concern, or deflect scrutiny, but this time silence has prevailed. That silence is being interpreted in multiple ways. Some see it as part of a larger legal strategy to avoid any risk of prejudicing the case. Others view it as a signal that the backlash took them by surprise. Either way, the vacuum left by their silence has been filled by commentary like Owens, and by an increasingly energized base of digital creators who feel they've been directly challenged. Adding further intrigue to the situation was a cryptic post made by someone rumored to be closely aligned with Taylor Swift's inner circle. While not naming anyone explicitly, the post hinted at a growing frustration among those caught in the legal and PR crossfire of the Blake Baldoni feud. The truth always finds a way through the post-read. No emotion can suppress what people already feel. Swift herself has remained silent, but it's no secret that her name has appeared in legal documents related to this case. Text messages between her and Justin Baldoni have already been approved for inclusion in the legal discovery process, something that Blake's legal team allegedly fought hard to prevent. If Owens is right, this new motion may be a final attempt to limit the exposure of those communications before they become widely available. The possibility that this entire effort is about keeping Taylor Swift's texts from becoming public is now a major point of speculation. According to Owens, this wouldn't be surprising at all. If what I'm hearing is true, she said in her video those messages will change everything. While she didn't elaborate on what the content of those texts might be, she emphasized that it's not about gossip, it's about the kind of transparency that holds powerful people accountable. This is why people don't trust the system anymore, she said, because the system bends for celebrities who can afford to manipulate it. As this story gains momentum, the media is slowly beginning to take notice. What started as a niche creator conflict is now finding its way into mainstream headlines. Several digital outlets have already begun reporting on Owens' claims, and court reporters are reportedly working to confirm the details of the sealed filing. Some legal analysts are urging caution, noting that until the document becomes public or is referenced in a court hearing, it's impossible to verify every aspect of Owens' claims. Still, the pressure is mounting. Public interest in the case is growing, and now more eyes than ever are watching to see how the courts respond. Interestingly, not all the backlash is coming from outside Hollywood. A handful of insiders off the record have voiced concern that this filing reflects a deeper panic inside Blake and Ryan's team. According to one source, the couple has been extremely frustrated with the way the narrative has slipped out of their control. Despite early efforts to present Blake as a victim and Ryan as a supportive partner uninvolved in the legal drama, the internet has complicated that framing. Owens' response only deepened that complication, framing the couple not as embattled celebrities, but as aggressive power players attempting to muzzle their critics. That framing is powerful, especially in a cultural moment where audiences are increasingly skeptical of celebrity influence. Meanwhile, creators across platforms are now facing their own decisions. Some are doubling down, posting more commentary, and promising to fight back if legal threats come their way. Others are treading carefully, waiting to see how the courts respond before making their next move. A few have privately admitted they're nervous, especially those who don't have legal teams or the resources to defend themselves if named in future filings. That fear, Owens argues, is precisely the point. She believes the motion wasn't designed to win a court ruling immediately. It was meant to send a signal, a warning, a shot across the bow to every creator who dares to speak critically about a celebrity with deep pockets and powerful lawyers. In a particularly poignant moment near the end of her video, Owens said something that struck a chord with many of her viewers. "I can afford to fight this," she said. "But what about the next person who can't? What about the young creator with a few thousand followers who's just trying to tell the truth as they see it?" That question has become the emotional core of this growing conflict. Because while Blake and Ryan may have filed a motion with legal implications, they've also ignited a cultural conversation that's far from over. And now, as more creators weigh in, as the media starts picking up the scent, and as viewers around the world begin to question the relationship between celebrity, the court system, and free speech, one thing is clear: the stakes have never been higher. What happens next won't just impact Blake Lively or Candace Owens. It will affect how content creators operate, how stories are told, and how much power public figures truly have in shaping the narrative about themselves. As the controversy surrounding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds intensifies, more Hollywood insiders are starting to speak, some publicly, others behind closed doors. And while Candace Owens may have fired the first shot in this most recent chapter, it's clear now that she isn't standing alone. In fact, what's unfolding behind the scenes reveals a deepening divide within Hollywood itself, as industry power players weigh the potential fallout from this court filing and the media storm it has generated. Surprisingly, it isn't just independent creators or political commentators who are reacting. There's growing movement among talent reps, entertainment lawyers, and even a few high-profile actors who are concerned that this situation could set off a cascade of new legal precedents targeting digital commentary and influencer analysis. One person who has remained conspicuously silent throughout this entire firestorm is Justin Baldoni, but that doesn't mean his team isn't paying attention. According to insiders close to the actor, Baldoni has been carefully tracking the legal developments and online reaction. His silence, they say, is part of a broader strategy, one that reflects both legal prudence and media savvy. While Blake and Ryan's side may be working to suppress certain records, Baldoni's camp appears confident that the truth when it emerges in court will speak louder than any motion to seal evidence. Privately, members of Baldoni's legal team have reportedly expressed frustration over what they see as unnecessary legal theatrics by the lively Reynolds camp, but they're also prepared if the motion does succeed in keeping certain evidence private. They're said to have a list of alternative documents and testimonies that will remain admissible and could be just as damaging. This legal chess match is taking place as a larger cultural battle brews. It's not just about protecting reputations anymore, it's about the right to ask questions, to analyze public events, and to hold celebrities accountable when they wield their influence through legal channels. Owens' response has become a flashpoint in that larger debate, but now other influencers, some with audiences just as large, are joining the conversation. A major tech commentator posted a video suggesting that if celebrities begin to use protective motions to silence online discussion, then platforms like YouTube and X will soon be flooded with demands to remove or demonetize content that was once considered fair commentary. He called it a slippery slope, warning that this may only be the first in a long line of attempts to sanitize public perception through back-channel legal efforts. Another layer to this situation emerged when rumors began circulating that someone close to Taylor Swift has started quietly pushing back. While Swift herself has not issued a statement, sources inside the industry are buzzing about a recent closed-door meeting that took place between her legal advisors and a group of reputation managers, the topic preparing for potential fallout if her name and messages are further dragged into the public legal arena. Some believe that Swift is considering releasing a carefully worded public note should the sealed evidence go public, one that frames her involvement in the case as minimal, honest, and ultimately unfairly exploited. Others say she's unlikely to speak at all, knowing that any reaction might cause more scrutiny. Still, it's undeniable that her name is central to what's happening. The motion filed by Blake and Ryan's legal team, if Owens' interpretation is accurate, was at least partially designed to prevent the release of Swift's private texts to Justin Baldoni. If those messages were, as many speculate, sympathetic to Baldoni or critical of how Blake handled certain private matters, it would be a PR nightmare for Lively. That kind of context could immediately flip the public perception from a private feud into something far more complex and deeply layered. And it may explain why the stakes have become so high and why content creators like Owens see the attempt to silence discussion as not only strategic but desperate. Ryan Reynolds' role in all this has become one of the most curious subplots. For weeks he has remained off the radar, making no public mention of the legal chaos swirling around his wife. Known for his sharp wit and social media presence, Reynolds' silence has begun to feel pointed. For someone who rarely avoids the spotlight, his decision to say nothing is being interpreted as either deeply strategic or profoundly uncomfortable. Some insiders believe he's trying to protect his image, knowing that any misstep could make him a lightning rod for criticism. Others think he's more involved than it seems, that his name being included on the court filing indicates he is no longer just a bystander in this story, but an active participant in the strategy to control how it's told. This possibility was reinforced by Owens, who questioned why Reynolds would need to be involved in a filing that deals primarily with communications and reputations tied to his wife's separate legal challenges. Why would Ryan Reynolds co-sign this kind of request, she asked in her video, unless he has something to lose? If that information becomes public, that question has only fueled further speculation. Could there be more to this than just Blake's concern over private texts? Could the sealed evidence also implicate or reflect poorly on Reynolds himself, perhaps in ways that stretch beyond the immediate legal battle? As Owens suggests, this could explain why both of their names appear on the filing, and why the language reportedly extends to concerns about social media content creators and narrative control. At this point, the conversation is no longer limited to just law or media ethics. It's about power, influence, and fear. Content creators are beginning to ask whether the court system is being used as a tool not for justice but for brand management. The idea that a couple as powerful as Blake and Ryan could quietly file a motion that indirectly chills online commentary is deeply unsettling to many. It brings into sharp focus the uneven playing field between celebrities with legal war chests and creators who rely on community support and ad revenue to survive. This dynamic of legal pressure versus public speech is rapidly becoming the central issue of the entire controversy. More creators are stepping into the spotlight. One investigative journalist who focuses on celebrity court filings released a long-form breakdown showing how similar tactics have been used in the past. by other celebrities, mostly in privacy-related lawsuits or defamation claims. He noted that while such motions are legal, their ethical implications are often debated. In many cases, these filings never make headlines because they are often uncontested or ignored. But this time is different. The timing, the people involved, and the viral nature of the conversation have transformed this into a cultural reckoning, not just a courtroom dispute. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, agents and attorneys are on high alert. Some managers are reportedly advising their clients to stay silent and distance themselves from the controversy, entirely fearing that even a supportive word for one side could be misinterpreted or used as legal ammunition later. The climate has shifted. There is a growing sense that this situation could expand, that depositions could be requested from individuals far outside the original scope of the case, and that creators who have discussed the story even tangentially could be roped in. That possibility has sent shockwaves through both Hollywood and the digital creator space. Subpoenas, it seems, may no longer be confined to journalists or witnesses, but to content creators as well. For Candace Owens, this only underscores her point. In her words, "This isn't about me being dramatic. It's about a very real effort to intimidate and silence people who don't have the power to fight back." She insists that she won't back down, and that if this motion proceeds and targets creators more directly, she's prepared to challenge it, not just publicly but legally. Her team is reportedly already assembling a coalition of First Amendment attorneys who are monitoring the situation and preparing a response should YouTube creators or ex-users begin receiving legal threats or takedown notices as a result of the motion. In the public eye, this entire affair is becoming a litmus test. A test of how far celebrities will go to protect their image. A test of how much power influencers truly have. A test of whether the legal system can be bent toward brand protection rather than transparency and truth. For now, the filing remains sealed, but the conversation it triggered is wide open. The longer the motion remains undisclosed, the more speculation grows, and the more creators, viewers, and legal experts push back against what they see as an unacceptable attempt to restrict the scope of public discussion.